Yep, did it the long way around again, taking too much out. So now we have to put the water back in, get the water out. It's just a nightmare. Welcome back to the channel, guys. Stick around to the end of the video because this is going to be an eventful one. Hi there guys, and welcome back to the channel. It's Dave from Horizon Fish Keeping here. First of all, I'm just doing a voiceover because I did lose audio on some parts of the beginning of this video, so if you'd like to stay tuned to the end, and we'll see how we're getting on by the end of the video. So basically on this part of the video I was just showing the tank was stripped down. All the fish are still in there, so there's I think there's around about 10 mboonas, African cichlids in this one. And they range from, I've got the yellow labs in there, Demasoni. I've got a couple of calico plecos that live in there, quite happily with them. And this is a bit of an unusual one. As you can see, I'm showing all the stones and things. The unusual part of this video is it's a planted cichlid tank. It was planted before, and I just fancied a change. And also, as you can see from the video there, the substrate's looking a bit murky, and we had some dead spots in the corners and around the edges and things. So I'm basically wanting to make an island composition on this one. There's my calico pleco there, it's looking pretty badass, as you can see. I bred him myself, so he's being bred in my water, so he's quite happy to be in the harder water with the cichlids. I know that most catfish prefer softer water and cooler temperatures, but these guys seem to thrive in here with the mboonas, and my water is really soft at the moment. It's coming out of the tap at about 6.5 to 7 pH, and I use Seachem alkaline buffers there as well to buffer up the water to about roughly 7.5. I don't really take it much higher than that. And I do feed a lot of brine shrimp and things, so I use the minerals in the salt as well. I do clean it down for my tropical tanks, but in my mboona tanks I tend to just put it in with the salt water. It doesn't affect the plants, it doesn't seem to affect my water parameters that much neither, so I'll continue to do that. Every tank's different. I've got a planted tank in my other room that if you start putting salt into it, some of the plants in there might perish, and I'm not sure the fish would like it too much neither with the corridors and things like that. But in this particular one it seems to do really well. And basically anyway, let's get back to the video I suppose. And as you can see, I'm just pointing out the state of the substrate at the moment. It's looking really rough. There's a lot of plant debris down there, old food debris, and basically a lot of nasty stuff. So the idea of today is to maybe give that a bit of a clean up, and also thinking about maybe replacing that substrate for something a little bit darker. Anyway, we'll get back to the video, guys. I think the audio returns on the next part of this video, so I'll leave you with that. So these are the swords that I managed to save. Just trying to get some light in here, guys. It's a bit dull today, but it's picking up on the light in the tank. But as you can see, there's an almighty bunch of these things. Just trying to get my brightness up a tad. It's a bit. There we go. So yeah, these swords are pretty badass. Some of them are looking a bit sort of, a bit dead, and I'm going to trim these guys down, and I'll just put the roots in there for now. Just give me a bit of time to scrape the tank up. But there's absolutely loads of this stuff. So I know you're not supposed to plant cichlid tanks because they eat the leaves and stuff, but you can see they've had a bit of a nibble. But there's, in between all that, there's loads of nice, good leaves still. So they've been all right with them. We're gonna chop some of these off. Obviously, I think there's about 5 plants there, and we'll get some good pieces of that as well. That's what I'm thinking. If I do the stones in a bit of a rockery type thing in the centre, and then might have some of the swords coming out of the centre there. I was thinking about putting some of this. Sorry, I'll just try and drop the brightness a little bit again. I'm going to think about putting some of this. I can't remember the name of it now. It's totally escaped me. But yeah, some of that. I'm going to put some of that in there too. Maybe do a bit of a section off to the side. We're doing that stuff. But we've got a few other plants that we can put in there as well. I've got some ferns and things that can go in there, and I've got some anubias as well that are on rocks that I could possibly put in there, so we'll check them out anyway. We'll flick back around, and again we've got loads of plants in there just if we want to pick any out, and take some cuttings. We've got some big anubias in there and stuff. Yes, it is Peppa Pig playing in the background for anyone asks. on my comments. But yeah, we can get some bits going on out of this as well, I think, and that'll make for a nice escape. So we'll spin you back around anyway, check it out and see if we can get escape going. Yeah, back in the Cichlid tank now. What I want to do is basically just try and get as much of this up. I'm going to try and use just my siphon to try and siphon as much of the sort of nasties up from the bottom, get all the dead roots out, hopefully try and catch all the plecos and things. And you know, there's quite a few Mbuna Malawi cichlids in here as well. These guys are pretty big. You can't really see them through the the mess if I try and darken it down a bit so you might get a better picture of them. These guys are pretty decent sized, and they're all happy living together. You know, they've been living together forever and a day. I bought them all together, so pretty much, well, weeks apart if anything. But we'll get these guys somewhere nice to live now and get some of this stuff out, because there's loads of stuff like floating around. I've been wanting to do this tank for a little while, so next part of this video is probably just going to be time lapsed. I'll put some tunes on or whatever, and then we'll get back when I start scaping and sorted out this this mess of a substrate, because it is really nasty. There's been some quite bad you know, dead spots in the water, and it's managed to collect up some nasties there, so we want to get that out of the water. We don't want it sort of rotting away. This tank's pretty self-sustaining though, I must admit. You know, it never swings in parameters or out like that, but it's time for a good clean out, so that's what this video is all about. So I'll do a time lapse now. I'll drop the water down, get the fish out, put them somewhere safe, and then we'll have a look at escaping it. So then guys, we're just back again doing the time lapse. This part of the video I just got the pump in. I'm just trying to drop the water level down, clean out the sponges, catch some of the fish out and put them somewhere safe so we can start escaping this tank and looking at how bad the substrate is. I'll leave you for this part of the time lapse, and we'll probably just jump back on the next part. Guys, so as you can see now, I've got the water level right down, and I've got the fish just down in this bucket for now. Try and get a little bit brighter. So this is a good time to just check the general health of your fish. I've had a quick look over these guys and they're looking pretty good. Water's a bit murky. I've took them out sort of one by one, and just had a look at the fins, you know, their eyes, gills, all that type of stuff, to make sure they ain't got any problems. And if they did have any problems at this point, because they're out of the tank and they haven't been out of the tank for the past sort of 18 months probably, you know, it's difficult to see them when they're swimming around in all the plants and the rocks and things. So this is a good time now just to check over the health, check their eyes and all that stuff, and make sure they haven't got any sort of like gill flukes or anything like that, or fin rot, or you know, any nips or cuts or out like that. Really just check over everything. These guys are looking in good condition, very healthy still, which is a really good thing. I didn't want to sort of come across out today, but I do have a hospital tank on standby just to make sure if there was any problems with any of them, I could segregate that fish then and you know, medicate accordingly. So at the moment now we're doing all right. I'm not going to keep him in this bucket for long. I'm going to try and transfer him to you know, one of these tanks. I just wanted to make sure that the water will acclimate to the same temperatures and parameters, because obviously these are cichlids, so they've got higher pH and things. But as soon as I've sorted that out, then I'll pop them into this tank then, and we can get on with escaping. So I'll flip the camera back around now to the tank. So I've got it down to about 1 inch now. There's a couple of baby plecos in here that still need to catch out as well, just there, look. So once I've got that guy out and a few of his mates, then we'll crack on, get the rest of this water out, we'll sort the substrate out, and then we'll start escaping this aquarium. Yes, it's a good time now just to give everything a bit of a clean down, and so I'm going to get on with that now, and then I'll set camera up then. I'm going to keep some water in the bottom of this, just to try and get some of this. So it might look a bit murky when I'm trying to get most of it out, the dirty water just there, but when I fill it up obviously it'll look a bit murky, and then we'll have to just wait for it to settle down a bit, and then probably do a couple of water changes, just get the water clarity back up and use some Aquaclear. But until then, I'll give it a clean down, and then we'll set the camera up then and start escaping. Yeah, don't do this bit, guys. I realised I took out too much water, to use my siphon to clear all the rubbish out, so now I've got to put some water back in to siphon it out again. Jesus Christ. Remember to use tap safe when you're doing this point as well. You don't want to put chlorinated water into your already established substrate, not a good idea. Also, you could just took less water out and then you wouldn't have to do this stage again and again and again and again and again, which would have made it much easier for everyone. So now I'm going to have to put water back in to siphon out the mess, to take the water back out, to put it back in again. So yeah, it's a long way around to do it. So just leave enough water in, guys, so you can use your siphon to siphon your substrate. And use dechlorinated water if you don't, because then you'll kill all the bacteria in your established substrate and then cause a lot of problems down the line. So yeah, don't do that. But this part also helps to clean the sides. So while you're there, use the hose to clean the sides. Anyway, back to the video. So what I think I've decided to do is basically do like a small island across the middle, but on a curve. So I'm going to pull most of the sand back and then use some darker, maybe black substrate around the edge, so I can plant some smaller plants in. Obviously with cichlids, are going to try and dig that up. So what I'm thinking is I might tie some plants down to some smaller stones like this and just sort of place them around, but we'll just see how we get on with maybe just the first island. I was thinking maybe to do 3 of the big rocks on different angular patterns, maybe, you know, opposites to each other, and then now we're gonna see if we could get some darker substrates come around, but we'll see how it works out. At first I'm going to drop the water level down again, and then I'm going to place a few stones in. It might look a bit sort of strange with the water level so low, but when you fill the tank up, you will sort of, it'll come together. And we're going to put the big bunch of the Amazon swords probably in the center of that, so they're coming out in different directions from the main island, and that'll give them a lot of swimming room around the island then, and also it gives me room to plant maybe some taller stems at the back, and some vallis maybe in the corners, just so they've got somewhere to dip in and hide if they need to get away, or, you know, escape or whatever if they're getting a bit sort of bullied. But I'm going to pull the rest of the water out and just see how that sort of works. I'm not going to do the wood, I don't think. I might just drop that in one of my other tanks. I'm just going to stick with the stones on this one, and if I do, I might just have a bit of a piece in the corner or whatever, just to hide whatever's going on there, you know, the heaters and things. But we'll see how we get on with that anyway. But for now, we'll drop the rest of the water out. I'm going to leave, like I say, I'm going to leave an inch or so of water in there, and then we'll throw some of the stones back in and just sort of have a play and see what we can figure out with escape. So then, guys, after all that, we ended up emptying the tank, got the fish out. We only had them out for around an hour and a half, so I planted the whole tank, and it seems I've lost some footage or something went wrong with my camera at the time, so I don't actually have the aquascaping part of the video to show you guys. But basically what I did is you know, put some of the pebbles and whatever in, and then I've just sort of planted a few plants that I did have in the tank originally before, and the escape isn't finished, it's still cloudy. I've got a couple of small filters going at the moment. The fish are back up to temperature again. So I mean, basically we've got 3 plants in this whole scape. It's quite a basic scape, and there's some parts that I am going to change. I did throw some, the original sand was in there, and I've just put some fluval substrate on top, which the cichlids have now knocked about everywhere. So I think what I'm going to do is in a couple of weeks time I'm going to rescape this tank again, and I'm going to change out the substrate. I'm going to go for a black substrate. One of my previous videos where I did the background of the glass, I painted it in black. I just think with the black substrate as well, it'll reflect the colours better from the, obviously the fish are really colourful being Malawis. I think that'll, you know, it'll make them stand out a lot more. So the substrate's a little bit messed up at the minute, because I did put some fluval stratum in there just to see what sort of contrast we like, and it is mixed in with the sand quite a bit. So I'm not going to call this complete. This is just going to be stage one, just get some ideas going, and see what sort of plants we could probably put in there. The way I've done the planting is what I've done is I've got some bacopa just here. I'll show you some close-ups in a moment. So I've just got some bacopa out of one of my other tanks. What I've done is I've just put a weight on the bottom there, and I've trapped it between the stones, just so that the cichlids can't dig underneath. I'm going to try and figure out some sort of way of doing root tabs as well in there. I might try doing a deeper substrate, and planting all the plants in pots and putting the root tabs inside the pot. Maybe, I don't know yet. I'm not sure about that. So the 3 plants that are in here, obviously, is the bacopa that I just spoke about a moment ago, and there's about 9 Amazon swords in there in various sizes. Some big ones at the back and some small ones at the front there. And there's just an Anubias there, which is I've just stuck down with some cyanoacrylate super glue down to a stone there. So hopefully this won't be a sort of step-by-step tutorial on how to aquascape. The second part of this video will be the step-by-step tutorial. I'm going to totally empty the tank. I'm going to pull out all the substrate, clean the tank down to bare glass, and we're just going to start from the ground up. Brand new substrate in, new plants, everything. I might even get away, you know, get rid of the pebbles as well, and maybe go for something like a dragon stone or something like that. I'm going to start this whole project again, and hopefully we can get a better scape going. But I'll flip the camera around and you can have a look at the close-ups. So this is a bit of a better view of the scape that I've just sort of created quickly today on my day off. So I've gone with the pebbles again and a sort of a 2-island composition. So there's a, you know, pretty much passageway going through the centre there. Like I said before, I put some fluval stratum down over the top of the sand. The cichlids have kicked it about a bit now, but I think that's the way to go with this scape. I just think it'll look nicer with the stratum. Obviously I'm going to have to buffer up my water a lot more. Sorry for the mistiness, it's still a bit cloudy from the sun. So I did put back in the Amazon swords that I used in my previous scape, so some of the leaves are a bit, I've cut most of them off, but there's a few that are just sort of scraggly and whatever. And basically what the idea is with this scape is to plant the plants in between the stones like that, because I found it's not actually the leaves that get damaged by the cichlids, it's the root. So they tend to dig around them, and then you'll either get the plant floats to the top, or you'll find that the roots just start under the ground, so they under the substrate, so they just sort of you know, they'll just start falling to bits after a little while. And these are quite established swords, so I mean the fish are all in there now, happy and racing around and whatever. So we're a bit of an experience more than out. This video is not a tutorial, like I say, it's more of a just a rescape. I fancied doing something a little bit different with this tank, and that's what I've done. So you know, I've gone for this sort of island composition where it's going off to the left hand side there, and I've planted some bacopa, and as I said before, it's just on a ceramic weight. Sorry about the focus guys, the fish keep coming over. And just got a couple of pieces of lava rock there as well, and then there's just an Anubias that was in the tank before. It's just looking a bit bad, but I'm going to get some of this sea chem flourishing, and hopefully that'll give it a bit of a boost up and bring them back to what they were. So yeah, like I say guys, it's just a bit of an experiment. This is what it's all about. I might run this for a week or so. I'm gonna, like I say, I'm gonna get a couple of big bags of this fluval gravel. I'm gonna rip it all down again, and then try and do a bigger and better scape. So if you just want to subscribe to my channel anyway guys, like I said in my previous videos, we're getting massive views, you know, 17,000-18,000 views. over a 28-day period. People aren't pressing the subscribe button for some reason, so obviously it's a new channel and we want to get more people involved. So if you'd like to see more content like this, check out how my cichlids are doing in a couple of weeks time when we do it as new scape. And I've got some breeding projects going on as well underneath, and I do have tanks, you know, in other places that are you know, all scaped out, and other little projects going. At the minute we're just breeding some guppies. We're going to line breed some of these guppies in here. These guys are pretty badass. So we've just got these guys producing babies, and we've got a few, sorry about the flicker, it's just the LED lights. If you can see these guys down here, there's some babies in there now, so they're just growing up eating brine shrimp and whatever. This tank's just full, absolutely rammed with Cobrensis cichlids. These guys are going to a bigger tank soon because they're getting a little bit outgrowing the tank a little bit. Sorry for the focus again, guys. This LED light doesn't play nice with this camera. So yeah, if you just like to see, subscribe to the channel, and if you enjoy this content, just give it a thumbs up. If you've got any questions or you want me to answer anything, then leave a comment in the comment boxes below, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.